Hello, this is the DSE 425 Learning and Instruction Module 6 Signature Assignment Part B. And at this time, we're going to begin our presentation. If you hear anything or see anything that you enjoy, hopefully you will hear something in this presentation that will be helpful. Hopefully you hear something in this presentation that you could possibly use down the road. And I would like to begin by thanking our instructor who has done such a wonderful job in encouraging us throughout this entire class. And I would like to personally thank you for your patience. Thank you for your instruction and your encouragement. I have chosen to make this presentation on the subject of which is one of our procedures, which is the blood spill containment and cleaning procedure. And so this is a very different type of a procedure that you wouldn't hear in normal circumstances. But as you will find in this this video recording, that this is a real world, real life scenario. And as I said, hopefully you'll enjoy what you hear. And so to begin, this particular presentation is on the blood spill containment and cleaning procedure. My name is Philip G. Moore, and my industry sector is building and construction trades. I am a program instructor with healthcare facilities maintenance, and this is an indirect strategy activity. And once again, which is the blood spill containment and cleaning procedure. The objectives are that the students will identify and perform the 11 steps of the blood spill containment and cleaning procedure for cleaning blood spills and other potential infectious materials, or OPIMs. The students will be able to identify the process for cleaning dry blood, or OPIMs, or blood OPIMs on vertical and horizontal areas from ceiling to floor. Now, the indirect strategy scenario is it goes something like this. This is something that I had thought through, and after I had done it, it was an absolute success. Here's the scenario. On our scheduled project training day, I set up a mock blood spill area in one of the indoor recreational areas at the facility. I used a mixture of ketchup, mustard, and water in a 5-gallon bucket to simulate a blood or OPIM spill. I spattered the mixture in a large area in the middle of the floor and made a trail to 2 of the walls in random areas in order to give the spill a realistic feel. In a class of 20, the students have prior knowledge of the procedure, but the students were completely unaware of this mock exercise that was to take place on that day. So after setting up the training area, I called the students to the recreation area door, and before entering, I requested that they break up into 4 groups of 5 and appoint group leaders. Afterwards, we all entered into the room, and the students were all surprised of the mock training setup of the blood or OPIM spill. I then directed them by one group at a time to perform the blood spill containment, and cleaning procedure. After each group performed the procedure, I created a new spill in random areas of the same room. Until all 4 groups completed the procedure. Afterwards, I opened the floor for assessment, discussion by each group, and allowed the group leaders to express their assessment of themselves, their fellow group members, and other groups. I assisted by guiding the discussion. I found that this particular training exercise was successful, and it gave me the opportunity to make my own assessments to check for understanding, skill, ability, teamwork, and recall. I also discovered areas that I can adjust for more efficiency and smoother transition from one step to the next. I also found that using the element of surprise was a great addition to the process, which gave the activity a sense of reality. With research and experiencing this procedure personally in my career, in the past, it makes this indirect teaching activity relevant in today's world. There will be times when I am not present as the student's instructor due to the reality of the prison system being a 24-hour agency, and this real-world issue can arise at any time due to the nature of the environment. Knowing this, it will prepare the students to be fully prepared at any time to properly perform this real-world procedure. Now, this is the actual 11-step procedure, so please listen attentively. The first step, which is step number 1, is isolation. To isolate the immediate area so that people remain out of the area and do not come in contact with the blood spill. This can be accomplished by utilizing floor caution signs and caution tape and have someone to alert staff of the hazard. Step 2, approval. When responding to a suspected blood spill, cleanup must be approved by custody and medical staff. Step 3, evaluation. Questions to ask yourself when evaluating a blood spill or OPIM. What is the size of the spill? Is the spill wet versus dried blood or OPIM? Does the area that needs to be cleaned have sharps? Is it a spill overhead? Have the people walk through the spill? Or are there numerous areas that require cleanup? Now, just backing up a bit to sharps, and that could be anything like wood shavings, wood chips, metal shavings, pieces of sharpened metal, hardened plastic, steel pipes, anything with a sharp edge that may have been in the spill. Moving forward, step number 4, containment. Put on disposable gloves and prevent larger spills from seeping or going into areas by containing with solidifiers. Now, a solidifier is something that you would pour onto a blood spill or OPIM. And what that does is the solidifier, it actually absorbs the substance, whatever it may be, whether it be blood or any other type of body fluid, and it absorbs it and it coagulates and dries up into lumps where it could be swept away into a dustpan and placed into a proper container. Step number 5, preparation. Steps to take before beginning to clean the blood or OPIM spill. Use universal precautions by suiting up with personal protective equipment. This is a note. All biohazard cleanups will utilize universal precautions, which refer to the practice in medicine of avoiding contact with patients' body fluids by means of wearing the proper PPE, which is personal protective equipment such as gloves, isolation gowns, safety glasses or goggles, and or a Tyvek suit. That is the suit that covers from head to foot. which act as a barrier between yourself and the blood spill or OPIM. Blood spill cleanup kits are in the designated areas and are to be in the immediate area during cleanup. All supplies are to be handed to the custodian by the custodial team in the contaminated area and utilized for cleanup until procedure is complete. After a clean area is created outside of the contaminated area and the custodial team disposes of all used PPE and also sanitize all tools before returning equipment to the supply area. Step number 6, you must suit up with the required PPE or personal protective equipment. Once again, personal protective equipment only acts as a barrier between yourself and the substance that you will be handling. In this case, biohazardous materials or OPIMs, which once again are other potential infectious materials. And these are comprised of, the PPE is comprised of disposable nitrile gloves, isolation gowns, safety glasses or goggles, and or Tyvek suits. Boot covers always must be worn during the procedure, which act as a barrier between you and the OPIM. Step number 7, cleanup. Cleanup affected areas working from the outside of the spill to the inside, removing sharps, if any, that are in that particular area, such as broken glass, metal, wood, or plastic. Using a solidifier for containment of the spill, scooping up with the scoop tool into a red biohazardous bag. Step number 8, neutralize. Neutralize the actual area after you have cleaned up all of the excess of the blood spill. And so the next step here includes to utilize germicidal disinfectant solution or a 1 to 10 bleach and water solution on affected area, using a microfiber mop for floor areas and microfiber towels for wall or ceiling areas, working from the outside of the spill to the inside. Step number 9, removal of all PPE, starting from head to foot in the reverse order from how the PPE was put on from foot to head. So in other words, in order to put the proper PPE on, which is a industrial word that they call don, to don the PPE, you would start from foot and then from your feet and then work all the way up to the top of your head. To take off, remove, or the proper word is doff, is to take off, begin to remove the personal protective equipment from head to foot. So step number 10, disposal. All contaminated items such as mop and towels that are blood soaked are to be disposed of in a red biohazardous bag along with all PPE. Mops and towels that are blood speckled are to be placed in a yellow infectious bag and are sent to be industrially laundered to governmental standards. Step number 11, post cleanup. All tools are to be properly sanitized with germicidal disinfectant solution before transport back to the supply area. An equipment inventory is performed and a cleanup checklist is signed off and completed. And just a little side note here. Again, in the description of the scenario, the students had prior knowledge of this procedure And we normally have our training days on Mondays and Wednesdays. And in normal settings, the week prior, I always give them a heads up of what the training project will be on. But in this particular case, I took the time to let it be a surprise. I found that using the element of surprise where it would be unexpected, where this particular procedure always is. And so I wanted to see, as their instructor, if they could remember and recall all of the steps and work as a team off the fly so that they would have a full understanding of what needed to be done. And they did an excellent job, and they really all were surprised. So I just wanted to add that just to kind of use a little real life situation or a real life scenario. And this brings us to my summary. I have chosen this particular topic to describe an indirect teaching activity. This procedure is a real world, real life issue that exists across the globe in various situations and scenarios. The many different causes that this procedure ranges from are areas such as freeway and traffic accidents, hospital emergency departments, operating and surgical procedure and exam rooms, patient areas, and crime scenes. It is extremely vital that this procedure, is done professionally and correctly to avoid any cross-contamination that could cause harm or fatality to the public due to the danger of bloodborne pathogens or other potential infectious materials. This procedure is part of our practice with the Healthcare Facilities Maintenance, or the HFM program, with the California Prison Industry Authority, and the acronym for that is CALPIA, in collaboration with the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, which is CDCR, in the California prison system. This learning strategy will express a student group led demonstration of a step-by-step detail of properly performing this task, and will be used as a training activity exercise. I, as the instructor, will only facilitate and guide the process of this activity. And this concludes the presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found something in it that you could use. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day, and have a great week.